sometimes we get many different ideas for digital transformation and deploying new technologies, and you need to have a way to evaluate those ideas, or else you could get into some trouble. So let me give you a couple of examples. The first one comes from a legal aid organization where they had lawyers who were working with people who were very poor, and they happened to be elderly people. And what happened was the executive director, the CEO of this organization, was flying out someplace to go to a big conference, and on the airplane, in the Airplane magazine, he was reading the story about chatbots on Facebook and how popular they were, and to deliver information to people. And he came back and he went to his IT director and he said, "We need a chatbot, and we need it tomorrow. We should have this. We should have it right away. It's so cool, and I think it'll really help us deliver our information." So the IT director, who was like, "Oh my God," kind of, "Oh my God, what about this? I mean, our clients are elderly, and we just did this survey of our clients, and they're not using Facebook." So there's a mismatch between the technology and the end user. So he explained this to the CEO, and they decided not to move forward with that idea. And here's another example. This is an NGO that hosts a regular conference or meeting, and they decided that they needed to create their own iPhone app from scratch. And so it would have all the information about the conference. It could do the registration. It could have the agenda. It had all the information that you would need. So if you were a conference attendee, all the information was in your pocket. So they went out and they talked to some app developers, and they got some quotes. Now, it's kind of expensive to create your own app. So they got back a very expensive quote, and but they had it in their budget, and they were going to spend this money on this app. But then they started to do some research, and they realized that there was another company that had an online service that could easily customize an app for you without building it from scratch, and it was 60% less than creating one from scratch. And they looked at the features of both, and they realized that, well, why should we don't need to design one from scratch. We can use the service. It has everything we need. Let me give you an example of another situation that often happens with NGOs, and this is particularly useful, I think, for small nonprofits that don't have a lot of resources. Sometimes the smaller nonprofits are afraid of digital transformation because they just think, we don't have any money, technology is really expensive, we don't have the expertise on staff, so we're not going to do it. So this was a small nonprofit, and one of the things they had to do a lot was to have contracts signed. So what they were doing was sending out the contract attached to an email and asking the person on the other end who had to sign the contract to download it, print it out, sign it, take a picture with their phone, and send it back through email. And then at the other end, the organization would download it, print it out, they would sign it, they'd take a picture of it, and then send it back to the other party. Now, that's a lot of steps, and you can imagine how much time that takes. But there are different applications online, and many of them are free. And there's something called like HelloSign that does that for all those steps for you automatically. It's an online signature application. And frequently something like that will give you a couple of times free per month. You don't even have to pay for it. And if you do have to pay for it, it'll be a really modest fee. So sometimes there are processes that you can do online where you don't have to have a whole system created from scratch or pay a lot of money.